This is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show today with lead singer, guitarist, and founder of the heavy metal band Prong, as well as former member of Danzig and Ministry, Tommy Victor. Okay, so now you have this Vampirella tattoo on your arm.
Oh, okay.
And I was a huge fan. This was probably my second realization of I like girls in my life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're the same age. I mean, I grew up in I was taught by nuns in a school, and if they even saw you like maybe glancing at a girl or something, you were punished, and it was just punishment all the time. And then we didn't have. I mean, now, kids at 11, 12 years old, they see all kinds of sex acts on the internet. That did not exist. If any of your viewers are younger, in the 60s and 70s and before that. I mean, we didn't have the internet. There was no pornography anywhere that we had access to. Vampirella was believe it or not, a comic book character, was the closest thing we had to any kind of pornographic material when we were children, and other than National Geographic magazine. So things have changed a lot, and that was a woman with partially exposed breasts was something was alarming as an adolescent.
Well, Warren Magazine, they had Frazetta and Corbin. They had a lot of great artists, so it actually looked real. It actually brought the characters to life. It wasn't like cartoons.
This is from the original comic, but this is a Frazetta version, which was, if people know, like the Conan series of paperbacks. Frank Frazetta did that, and those were depictions of the human body of females that we were like, oh my God! It was like, we'd have to stash those in our homes and under beds, etc. So,
hey man, I had that poster. I had the life-size version of that.
Oh man, I'd love to have. It's something that I'm branded with that, realizing of the era that I came from, where it was. I don't understand how kids today. I think that I appreciate this because now nudity is taken for granted, and even male nudity on HBO and stuff. It's a completely different world compared to what it was years ago.
Do you think it's too much, too soon for the kids?
Yeah, I do. That's sometimes you look at other cultures. I don't think we know what the hell we're doing in America in a lot of ways as far as that goes. Everything. This is just a very, or in Western civilization, it's a mass experiment. On the other hand, in Europe too, nudity has a different connotation towards it. So, but it's all 20th century. It's nothing before that. We know how women were dressed, before this century, or the 21st and 20th century, and everybody was covered up all the time. So I think that was almost done for when everyone was uncovered, then it was more exciting then. Now it's just sort of everything's just boring, and we don't have the excitement that and the deviance of that doesn't come into our minds as much.
Sadly, that's true. Sad but true. We're going to start off with your albums. The Force-Fed Period.
That was done in a storefront on 6th Street and the Lower East Side when it was just all bombed out buildings, and this guy rented a storefront down there for $100 a month, and we just stuck some gear in there and made a record. I think it was done on an 8-track machine.
Nice.
It was that was there was really nothing but great things about that record. That was a fun record to do. Everyone was getting along at that point, and it was cool.
Cleansing, 1994.
Well, that was a crazy period because we didn't know what was going on with Prong then. I almost felt that it was over in a lot of ways, and I really had to put my foot to the accelerator on that. And believe it or not, I was married at that time. I was living. We were pioneers in Williamsburg at that point. And a lot of that record was the songs were written on acoustic guitar in my bathroom because my ex-wife, along the lines of my cycle of dysfunction, she was very unsupportive of my career, and I'd have to sneak in there and play riffs acoustic or on a guitar unamplified in my bathroom. So a lot of the songs were written that way.
Sometimes that just makes it better, doesn't
I know,
it?
but that's the only memory I was like going in there when she was like, I don't want to hear any noise after 10 o'clock. And I go in the bathroom and
I'll
like,
show you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That band's going nowhere.
It's like, and that's the whole reason that she probably like got you in the beginning. Like Anthony Kiedis says, once that guy stands up on that stage, every woman wants to be
I know,
with.
that's how it was. I remember that. And then it's like, as soon as we started doing good, I mean, it reminds me of like, like Don Draper and Megan and Mad Men. It's just like, oh, my wife's doing well now. I don't want to have anything to do with her.
Power of the Damager, 2007.
Well, actually, we have to remix and remaster that record. We're going to release it again. I mean, that was done with Al Jorgensen's label, and like they didn't really do anything with it. And the conditions of recording that record were horrible. And Al being Al, he got this engineer to work at his studio, that some guy that he just fell in love with, that was like a former some meth addict guy that he taught to run the board, and he wound up having to engineer the record. So we have to fix that up a little bit. I think there's some good songs on it. I'm not. I mean, the title track we still play occasionally now, and it's not one of my favorite records, but it's okay. A lot of fans like it.
What would you like your legacy to be?
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't even care if I have a legacy anymore. It's like, it's all BS, because like, one day somebody's like, oh man, you're a legend, and I'm like, and then the next day, like, like we played this gig in Santa Barbara, and like up there in like this. Santa Barbara is like this hoity-toity town, beach town of rich people and like trust fund babies, and it's like, and then like no one, we were playing like no one could give a shit about me. I was like standing at the merch booth, and like it's like, oh, you guys were really good, and like it's like so it's to somebody's legacy is to somebody else's failure.
Okay, why did Prong disband in 1996?
Well, we got dropped by the label.
Epic.
Yeah, and right when we got dropped, and then there was no money. It was like we were complete. If people think that you're on a major label, you're doing well financially, and that is not the case. We had 4 releases on Epic, and I was completely broke. So Glenn called me up, and I started playing with Glenn, and Ted got really pissed off at that. And then the little amount of money that we had in the account, he cleared that out and took it and ran to Norway. I mean, we're best friends now. I let that go because he was pissed off, and we wanted to keep it going. And it was, Raven got ill, and then he couldn't do a tour. It was just becoming a mess. And then the Rude Awakening record was a very big disappointment to us. So like, I just wanted to have a good time and make money. And that was short-lived with Danzig, and that my first period playing with Glenn, and it was just that was where everything started getting really dark for me, because I don't know. I mean, it was bad. We should have never broken up. I should have kept trudging along, and just kept fighting.
Yeah, but regret. It's like, look where you are now.
Yeah, but I like
you put out. I do like this new album. I think it's like it's awesome.
Thank you.
So maybe that suffering that you went through during that time produced this awesome album.
Well, I appreciate that. It's I'm very proud of the new record, Prong 10 No Absolutes. I think it came out great, and again, it was a gift from the art gods to me. I don't think I'm completely in control of these things. I think that I have supportive people around me that help, and without them, they wouldn't make it happen. They come into my life for a reason to help me, and then they're gone when the time is supposed to be when they're gone. So it's really a lot of stuff is beyond your control.
Yeah, I know.
Especially if you're an artist, and you have to surrender in a lot of ways to what is, and receive what comes to you, and that has a lot to do with this whole process.
Do you think that there's a modicum of thankfulness that has to go along with that?
Gratitude. Yeah, it's. I think in periods of gratitude, your art may be a little bit watered down. Maybe maybe I should live in gratitude that much. But I think for my music, you know, then everything would start sounding like the Little River Band or something. I don't know. Like, it just seems like there has to be some stress involved, and stress is discordant with gratitude in a lot of ways.
The Blaring Out Show.